Good afternoon and welcome everyone. I am Surbi Saxena. Today, BPP Publications in association with Dr. D.Y. Patil Institute of Technology are pleased to present a webinar on career growth in cloud computing with machine learning and artificial intelligence. So the basic objective behind this online discussion is to get a broad overview of career opportunities in latest trending and emerging technologies. Thus, it is beneficial for the students who will be appearing for the campus hirings and are on the verge of deciding the career prospects after engineering. And now let's start with some introduction of BPP Publications and Dr. D.Y. Patil Institute. BPP Publications is Asia's largest publisher of computer and IT books from past 62 years and is the India's most well-known and trusted brand with a satisfied and customer base of over 90 million. We have published over 5,000 titles from the world-class authors. BPP is publishing quality content on all the latest technologies. The vision is to continue to be the largest repository of IT knowledge and to provide world-class products at reasonable prices to the community. BPP titles are prescribed as standard courseware at most of the leading school, colleges, universities, and training institutes. Dr. D.Y. Patil Institute of Technology, based in Pune. The aim of the college is to provide quality technical education to the students. They provide all the necessary infrastructure, excellent academic, along with a team of well qualified and hardworking faculty members. The institute is awarded A grade by Government of Maharashtra. Now we would like to introduce the speaker of the day, Mr. Murari Ramuka, who is an author of the book Data Analytics with Google Cloud Platform published by BPB Publications. Mr. Murari Ramuka has 13 years of IT experience with emphasis on data analytics and big data. He conducted more than 1,500 campus interviews in many colleges in India and is a part of campus recruitment committee in many software organizations. So today he is keen to share his knowledge and give guidance to all of you. Mr. Murari, this time what we have done is we have collected the questions from the participants for which they want to know the answers, right? So let's take them one by one. However, we will not be restricted to those questions only. So request all the participants to post more questions in the chat box and we can take few of them at the end. So all please get ready. Uh, so, Murari, my first question to you is like all the participants wants to know what is data science. So I hand over it to you, please.
Sure. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Subhi ma'am. Ankita, can you put me on mute? I am getting echo, please. Yeah. So thanks a lot, Subhi ma'am and BPB for inviting me for this career growth opportunity or maybe the career growth discussion for our college students. So let me quickly introduce myself. Survi ma'am has already introduced me, but I just wanted to put some more detailed version of my introduction. So my name is Murari. The good part is I am passed out of D.Y. Patil College itself in 2007. So that's where I was just chatting with Lalit Chaudhary sir, and it is highly honored and privileged for me that I am talking again to the same college after 13 years. So I was from instrumentation and control and passed out in 2007. Uh, so let me tell you quickly about my means growth also and how did I came to this level, right? So I am from non-Maharashtra background, so I have completed my 10th from other than Maharashtra state, and then I have completed my 12th HSC from Wadia College, and then at that time we do not had CET type of exam, right? So it was just based on to the 12th marks you will get the admission into engineering college. Since I was OMS, right, other than Maharashtra state, it was challenging for me. I got 87% marks in 12th. However, being non OMS, being OMS student, I could not get the desired what do you say branch which I was expecting. Ankita, still I'm getting the background noise. Can you mute everyone, please? Yeah. So I could not get my desired branch, and that's where I. So during the counseling at DY Patil, right? So when I came there, only two branch was left: instrumentation and control, and information technology. So I called one of my relative to try to understand that okay, which branch I should take, and they said that okay, if you'll take IT, this includes little bit hardware, but why don't you go and take the instrumentation and control? And that's where I landed into instrumentation and control, and did a very good means spent a very good fantastic 4 years with the college, and I'm proud of that. uh, at that time, right, in 2007, we did not had what will say this campus interviews and campus selection trending, right? So nowadays most of the company comes. So at that time, DY Patil College was not that much known, and we get very few companies visit to our campus. And luckily, it started with Canbay. Okay, so Canbay at that time it was Canbay. Right now it's known as Capgemini. So Capgemini has acquired Canbay. So Canway visited us campus, and it was a combined campus for all Pune College, and around, if I remember right, around 4,000 uh, students has appeared for that particular campus selection or campus interview, and finally they shortlisted 40, and there were 4 or 5 from our colleges, which is DY Patil Pimpri, and I was one of the fortunate guy there to get selected into the first company itself. So again, it was like so see 4,000 student and just the 40 selection, right? So you can understand what could be the challenge, what could be the what will say competition within each one of you, right? So that's where you this seminar, this webinar will help you to understand that integrity and that detailing of that okay, what you should carry. Excuse me, Ankita, can you please mute everyone? I'm still getting the background noise, please. So, yeah. So this webinar basically, what I'm trying to put towards is my learning, my experience, which I have gained out of this 13 year, right? So I have completed the I have got selected into the campus, and then I worked for Canbay, Capgemini. I am part of, as Surbhi ma'am mentioned, right? I'm part of so many colleges campus recruitment committee. I myself have conducted more than 1,500 interviews across India. So what is something which is very unique we look for when we go for a campus interview or campus hire, right? So all those things we will discuss in details in this webinar, and I am very much excited data analytics space, extensively worked on multiple data related technology. As Survey mentioned, recently I have published a book onto the Google Cloud platform, which is data analytics with Google Cloud platform. I am part of Mentor for Change, which is run by Niti Aayog. And under that program, right, it's again a voluntary program. I go to schools and talk on some topics bi-weekly. Again, it's a voluntary program, and I try to share and devote as much as my knowledge to the community, and that's where I conduct this type of webinar and try to share as much as knowledge I have to the to all the community. It could be like anyone, student or college or school. So this is quite about me and my journey, right? So it feels interesting that where I was, right? I was a general student of 2007 pass out from DY Patil, and then now I am leading a GCP practice in one of the organization called Atos. So this is quite about my journey and how did I grew up into my career. So coming back to the questions which Subhi ma'am asked, right? What is a data science? So nowadays you will see, right? I will say since last 3 4 years, the technology are changing at very fast pace. So every day you will see new technology coming in, and suddenly there's a boom of data scientist or data science or machine learning or AI. All these are interrelated word, right? So the first questions which comes to everybody mind when they go and start reading about those things are, what is a data science? Why people are so much what will say excited about it? Why the companies are going towards this field, right? So what is such a different, what is so different in this technology, and why it is getting so much attraction, right? So let's understand first what is data science. So data science is nothing but taking the data, so finding out the ability of the data and understand it, process it, extract it, and visualize it. So finally, if you remember, right, Modi recently said that data is the new oil, right? So all the organization are now relying on data, and that's where this concept of data science came in, right? So data science is nothing but how you can get the insights or visualize, or you can predict the future, or you can do multiple more things with the help of that data. So data scientist is nothing but as I told you, right, ability to process, communicate, extract values from the data so that it can help you to do some future prediction or maybe to drive your business, right? So that's what is a data science, right? Moving back, okay, so there are multiple steps involved in data science, so it's a very huge terminology, right? So when we talk about data science, right, it involves multiple different steps. Okay, so it involves, first it starts with capturing the data. So when I say capturing the data, everybody I feel who are there on the in this seminar will have a bank account, right? So you go and swipe your card, and that's where the data acquisition or capture of data takes place. So that data go and hit into some source system, and then get stored there, right? So that's where the capture process or data acquisition process starts into a data science journey. Once that data has been captured, right, you go and process that data. When I say process the data, you do multiple different things. So you try to classify the transaction, you try to classify the customer, you do a data mining, okay, you do a data modeling, you do a data summarization. So as a simple example of data summarization is generally you get your what you say transaction history, right, which is a summary of your transaction, that okay, you spent 200 rupees in grocery, 200 in internet. So all those are comes after you process the data. So once you have captured the data, you apply processing on top of that, and this processing can be applied via different mechanism, methods or way. Once you have processed that data, right, you try to analyze it, okay, and that's where the actual what to say actual experience or actual your knowledge comes into the picture, right? So when you say you analyze it, right, you are trying to find out something unique into your data, right? You are trying to do a predictive analysis that okay, this company or maybe this guy has done a transaction at ICICI Bank Chinchwad, and he is claiming that this transaction is a fraud transaction. So does this transaction is a fraud transaction? Yes or no? So those type of answers you get it post processing it, and then once you analyze it, okay, how you find out that it's a fraud transaction or not, right? You do lot of different type of processing on that data, that okay, did this guy has swiped this card for this much amount, this location, this ATM, all those permutation, combination, and different type of what will say algorithm you apply on the data to come up and try to visualize it that okay, yes, it's a fraud transaction. So finally you can conclude after analysis of the data that okay, this is a fraud transaction. It's not just I'm giving the example of a fraud transaction. However, analysis of the data or analyzing the data can happen for your predictive analysis. It could be your text mining, it could be your regression, it could be your confirmatory analysis, right? Once you did that analysis, right, you communicate. Communicate means you are creating some visualization, you are creating some reports on top of that. So what company CEO is want to look that, okay, how many fraud transaction has been reported. He might not be interested to see an individual transaction. So that's where that communication and visualization parts comes, that okay, out of 50,000 transactions which has happened today, 50 people are claiming that it's a fraud transaction. So you will create some dashboard, some visualization, some report on top of that to give it to the what will say leadership team and the senior people, right? And that's where your communication or data reporting comes very handy. Okay, so this is a different type of steps or what will say different phases involved during a data science activity. Once anybody want to go and try to implement any algorithm or try to develop a machine learning model, they might need to go into all these different steps. So hope I have answered the query, Survi, maybe.
Yes, please. So, as now we all know that what is data science, so it would be good if you can explain to our participants what is artificial intelligence and machine learning. And they want to know where is artificial intelligence used. And if you can just explain it with some real life examples, that would be good.
Sure, yeah, sure. I will certainly do that. So again, artificial machine learning, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science, right? So data science is a subject. Okay, under that data science, you will have different type of what will say implementation methodology. It could be your artificial intelligence, machine learning, or deep learning, right? So in this slide, I try to capture the difference between artificial, which is AI, ML, and deep learning, right? So you can see, right? You can relate from the picture, which is the screenshot, which is given below, that artificial intelligence is the superset. Okay, so artificial, so consider it like a country, state, and then district, right? So artificial intelligence is something like a vast or superset which includes everything, right? So artificial is a container, it's artificial intelligence is a bigger container of machine learning. And what basically it consists of, it consists of everything which falls under your ML, deep learning, or AI. When it comes to very specific, right, machine learning, machine learning is a very subset of your artificial intelligence. So when I say subset of artificial intelligence, in artificial intelligence you can have multiple different algorithms via which you can apply the machine learning. However, for machine learning point of view, there are very few of very specific or focused algorithm which you try to leverage when you write a machine learning program. It is very focused on learning ability of machine. Okay, so what we do, right? So we train the model with some specific set of data, right? And then we provide the required, or maybe we provide the actual data to that model so that we can see and track that output, that okay, whether it is working as per expectation. Something like example over here could be, so I have developed a machine learning model that okay, this customer can leave us or not, right? So something which is prediction model, right? Or maybe churn analysis which we want to do. So we have trained the machine learning model with some sample set of data, with some sample quality, that okay, these are the types of quality of the customer who have left, these are the quality of the customer who has with us since last 10 years. And depending on that, that model has captured and learned himself. Okay, so what model is not capable enough to do is, if that model will get any new record from the source system which is coming from the live environment, it can predict that okay, this customer can leave us or not, or he can be maybe he can maybe a prospect or could be a customer, or who he could live in 5 months, 6 months of time. So understanding the behavior and the quality and all those sentiments of that customer, what input you have given to a model, depending on that, it predict the output of that particular individual. That is nothing but your machine learning. Deep learning another level deeper. So again, it is very mimic working of a human brain. So again, I don't know who all are there in the like webinar or seminar right now, but deep learning is very, what to say, vast. Okay, it is something where you are trying to mimic the working of human brain, right? So something ANN type of model, which is artificial neural network type of model, is highly used when it comes to deep learning. Okay, some of the example which we want to see, which is highly reliable or highly using the data analytics or data science or machine learning features into their business. Facebook, everybody might will have the Facebook account, right? And you can see that social analytics which they do as a part of their data analytics platform, right? So what generally they do, right? So you, whenever you log into a Facebook account, right, you see that okay, these are the recommended friend option, right? It it so you get a feed, right, which is onto your page, right? All those feeds are also coming by running the data analytics into the background, right? So you might have seen something maybe yesterday. Depending on that, it has calculated or come up with some analytics and then try to show those social feature to you. So Facebook is one of the very good example who is highly using or leveraging the data analytics or data science or machine learning or AI features. Let's come to Amazon, right? So everybody know what is Amazon is, right? So Amazon has one of the very powerful recommendation engine across the globe. So I hope everybody understand what is recommendation engine. Recommendation engine is something that if you have purchased one product, and Amazon will give you the option to purchase another product depending on the what will say recommendation, or depending on multiple different what will say buying habit you have. So depending on that, it recommend a product for a user. So for example, you have purchased a mobile, right? And suddenly you get an option or recommendation saying that you should go ahead and purchase a screen guard or maybe a headphone or a screen cover, all those type of thing, right? So how does that is coming, or how those insights are getting generated? So those are getting generated from your recommendation engine, which is there in the back end. Uber, again, very good example of geospatial data, right? So again, based on the demand and the location, it optimize the ride, it optimize the cost, right? So very good example of data analytics, highly dependent on the geospatial data. Bank of America, again, increasing customer experience. So customer, what a bank customer want, right? They do not want to visit to the branch, they want that everything can be done online. So all those things has been provided by Bank of America uh, by leveraging your data analytics, right? So they are, so consider, they understand, so they get the customer sentiments, they understand the customer sentiments, and with that sentiments they increase the customer experience, so that their customer can be converted to a lifelong customer. So they are using heavily data analytics or data science in order to increase the customer experience. Some of the more example are Airbnb and Spotify, which maybe I do not want to go into the detail, because it's again very similar to what we talked, right? So Spotify again is on a music recommendation engine and all those, right? So can we move to the next question? Should we? I think we have answered this question. Should we?
Am I audible, please?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So, what is the scope if someone chooses a career as data scientist? And compared to other IT jobs, how do you rank the data scientist job?
So you are not able to see my screen. Are you able to see my screen? Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, it was not visible earlier.
It was visible.
Okay, okay,
I saw the examples around us, yeah, that earlier also you explained that
okay,
it
cool,
was there. Yeah.
cool. Sure, no, no, I got sure, okay. Can you repeat the question? Sorry, I was just trying to go through the website.
We just want to know that what is the scope if someone chooses a career as data scientist and compared to the other IT jobs, how do you rank the data scientist job?
Okay, very good question. Okay, so yes, everybody is now interested to see that how much salary they want to get, right? So, cool. So, what is the scope of choosing career as a data scientist, right? So that's what we are looking for. So, as I told you, right, everywhere now the demand is to get the insights or analytics on data, right? And that's where data scientist job is very relevant and plays an important role. So most of the organization, Survi, can you go on mute, please? So most of the organization who is trying to generate more demands or revenue or try to cope up with the current situation into the market, they need some robust data platform or a machine learning platform. And that's where the data scientist job is getting popular very much. Okay, so these jobs are very high in demand. Even in current scenario also, COVID situation, I can see most of the company are still hiring for data scientist interns. So the job is again very much demanding and very much live right now in this current situation also. This is one of the highly paid job into the market. If you compare this job with the traditional testing mainframe type of job, you can see the difference. The salary offered for this job is correspondingly much higher than the job which is generally onto the traditional technology like testing or Java or mainframe type of thing. Again, it's a very prestigious job also. So if somebody will say that no, I am working as a data scientist for this organization, or somebody will come to you and say no, I am working as a data scientist for Google. Oh my god, so you're working as a data scientist? So that is what the respect a data scientist gets. Okay, and that's why it is a highly prestigious job. It's a very versatile because as I told you, right, there are so many things included as a part of data scientist. Okay, so you need to be very specific when you are choosing that. Okay, which stream you want to go for. Okay, it's very much again, I am not sure whether you have heard about IoT. So again, data science jobs also align or maybe some overlap with IoT technology, which is Internet of Things, right? And its data scientist job is mandatory for the hour. So you will see all the organizations are extensively focusing on this. Okay, so consider if they have a workforce of 500 people, right? They will not treat all those as what will say prestigious or caring for a data scientist job, right? So even though they have 10 data scientists, they will try to care them or maybe try to prep them more rather than the traditional technology folks, right? So it's again a highly focused job or role into an organization. Okay, let's see some of the stats, right? So in 2016, it was named as the top job in America. Okay, so that's where this data scientist job started. So somewhere I will say 2014-15, it started into the market and it has been ranked as one of the top job in America. In 20, so what Harvard HBR is saying, for every $1 data scientist job, before it grow to 11%, right? So I do not remember any of the skill or any of the role or any of the job has grew so fast or so fast have got the growth, right? So that's what the demand of this particular data scientist job is. Everybody is interested to see the salary comparison also, right? So that's what I just put a sample slide of India comparison, right? So you can see a screenshot of coming from that. Okay, what could be the average salary of data scientist versus a computer programmer, right? So you can directly see in front of your screen that average salary of a data scientist in India is approximately 7 lakh. However, for a computer programmer is generally somewhere 4 to 5 lakhs, right? So that's where you can understand the demand, growth, and the monetary benefit of this particular job and role. Okay. Yeah, so I think I answered your question. So can we move to the next question, please?
Yes, please, very well. Thanks for explaining it so well. So the next question is actually we use the term cloud many times, right? So we want to know what is cloud computing with AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. So if you can just share some examples of that.
Sure, sure, I will do that. So again, very good question, and yeah, I will go ahead and answer that. So what is cloud computing, okay, and how it can be leveraged with AI ML, right? So in current scenario, or maybe even I hope everybody has heard two words: capital expenditure and operational expenditure, right? So companies are trying to cut their operational expenditure, and that's where this cloud computing comes into the picture. Okay, cloud computing is something which involves, so see, again, you do not have to worry about your own infrastructure, compute and storage. You can go and leverage any third party or public provider for this facility. So for example, right, you want to set up a application for a banking system. So what would be your first step, right? Getting,
Murari, I think somebody has muted you.
sorry, yeah, you are able to hear me now?
Yes, please.
Cool, okay. So I'm not sure till where you have heard, but yeah, let me quickly repeat, right? So consider you are planning to build an application for a banking system. From where you will start? You will start from your infrastructure, right? Setting up a CPU, setting up a machine, getting the software, all those things you will do as a part of your setting up that application. Again, so you don't know the success of your application till now, but what you did is you invested a lot, because once you are putting that infrastructure, you will think of long term, maybe 5 years, that okay, my data volume will grow from 500 GB to 5 terabyte. So depending on that, you will put your infrastructure, right? However, you have done all those expenditure on day one, and you don't know when you are going to get the expected output. So with cloud computing, it is very easy. Since you have the requirement of 50 GB right now, you can go and spin up a cluster or a machine for 50 GB only, and you will pay only for that much usage. Since as and when your data is growing, as and when your compute is growing, you can go and scale it up as per your demand. And that's where this cloud computing plays a vital role. So you do not end up paying everything on day one. However, you can go and pay it as an incremental way as and when needed. Okay. Again, you set up this infrastructure at your own. That's where you need to manage everything, right? You need to make sure that Windows installed properly, the right updates are going or not, the software which you have installed is updated properly or not. All those things or maintenance you need to take care. However, when you go ahead with cloud computing, you do not have to worry about any of these things. All these things will be taken care by your public provider, public cloud provider. So that's where this cloud computing plays a vital role. Cloud computing generally works on these three models, which is IaaS, infrastructure as a service, PaaS, platform as a service, and SaaS, which is software as a service. So these are the three widely used models when on which cloud provider works, right? So when you say infrastructure as a service, you will just get an infra, which is a type of machine or a compute from the cloud provider. When you say platform as a service, they are providing you a platform where you can run the code. So you can directly run your code onto that environment. When we are talking about software as a service, you do not have to worry about anything. What you need to worry about is just the configuration. So the very good example of SaaS product is Salesforce, Gmail, Google. All those are SaaS product. Okay, it is very much cost effective, as I told you, right? You do not have to pay for everything on day one, and it saves the cost a lot. It increase the productivity. How it is increasing the productivity? Since you are since the person, so consider for monitoring and for infrastructure maintenance, you needed two staff. Now you can add that two staff into the coding and actual development. That's where you end up getting the increased productivity rather than comparing it to your normal infrastructure. It is highly reliable and it provides the availability of advanced infrastructure. So most of the cloud providers gives you 99.9% of SLA. So basically SLA is service level agreement. So they can assure you that your system will not be down. 99.9% it would be their responsibility to make it available and scalable whenever anything goes wrong. Okay, so that's what a commitment cloud provider gives. Let's see how it is can be leveraged with AI ML, right? So again, as I told you, cloud computing is a type of service or delivery infrastructure or a deployment model. However, when it comes to your data analytics, right, or machine learning is nothing but it's a framework or tool to process the data. Okay, so you can process that data onto the on-premises environment, or even you can leverage the cloud computing environment also. Okay, so some of the company, if you will see, like Google, AWS, Azure, gives some of the ready-made functionality of implementing this machine learning and data analytics features. Okay, so I will quickly show you one of the example which I have already opened in my window. Okay, so see, this is one. I hope everybody can see my screen.
Yes, please.
Okay, so see, this is one of the API which is given by Google on GCP platform, right? And this API is called as Vision API. What I did, I am giving a sample demo of this API. I have just uploaded one simple image over here. So see what it will give you. It will give you a very good output for which maybe if you go and implement it at your own end, it needs at least 500 lines of code. So what output you are getting? Okay, all those what will say sentiments that okay, phase one is this, right? Phase two, phase three, phase four. So it captured all those four faces into this image. It can give you the joy percentage. Okay, it is categorizing that object also. All these four are person. Okay, it is labeling all these images also, that okay, these are people, this is a photograph. Smiley is 88%, family taking photo together, right? So see, this type of ready-made insights you are getting with the help of this Vision API. So powerful API, and even we are also using it in our couple of our project, right? See the properties also it is giving you that okay, what are the different dominant colors, crop hints. So all those things you will get as a part of this ready-made API which is given by. So I was just showing it for Google, but most of the cloud providers gives this ready-made API for your what is a generic problem. However, if it is a very customized data analytics problem, then you might need to go and enhance this API and then use your own what is a algorithm on top of that. However, for generic type of purpose, these ready-made APIs are sufficient. Let's see another API quickly, right? So here I am just talking about NLP, which is natural language processing. I have pasted something over here to test that whether this API is working fine or not. You can see Google headquarters is in this. Let me analyze this with the help of NLP API, right? So let's see what output I'm getting. Cool, very interesting, right? So it is giving you all the details that Google is an organization, Mountain View is a location, Sundar Pichai is a person. Wow. Android is a customer goods, phone is a customer goods. So all those NLP and entity classification you are getting with the help of this API, which is readily available. You can see sentiments also of this particular text which I have pasted, right? So you can see what are the different sentiments with respect to this text, what are the syntax and category, right? So all those things you are getting readily with the help of these ready-made APIs, which are again very, very powerful when it comes to data analytics. Okay, so that's where the combination of cloud computing with these APIs are making it really different, right? So if you need to do something which is reading the image, right, you need to write 500 600 line of code, while for Google or any other cloud computing platform it is readily available and you can directly use it from there, right? So that's where this combination of cloud computing with AI ML is very powerful. I am happy to answer any questions. So I request you, if you have any questions into runtime, and if you feel that you want the answer of that question, please paste it onto the comment or chat box, please. So these are a couple of AI ML services or the APIs readily available into Google Cloud Platform. However, there are multiple more on other cloud platform as well. So we have seen Cloud Vision API, we have seen NLP API, but there are multiple more like Translator API or Cloud Job API type of thing. Surbi, I hope I was able to answer this question also. Can we move to the next one, please?
Yes, please. Thanks for the great explanation. So now the next question is very important, and almost all the participants wants to know, like how can one start building the career in these trending technologies if they have no previous knowledge or no IT experience, no IT background. So it would be great if you can just answer that, please.
Sure. So very interesting question. I was expecting this because since we are talking to the students, right? So how one can start building his career into AI, ML or data science field, right? So very important thing, right? So when we talk about data science, right, all this data science, machine learning and AI is based onto the traditional maths which we used to do in our 9 10th, which is stats, mean, median, mode type of thing, right? So you need to have a very good knowledge or experience, or maybe you need to go back and refresh all those concepts of math and stats, because this machine learning and AI is completely based on your statistical modeling. Okay. Another important thing is you need to learn some of the programming language. It could be Python, it could be Java, it could be R. So you need to have the knowledge of programming language, because in order to build this model or AI ML model, you need to write some programming language, or you need to maybe develop that model by leveraging some of the language which is available in maybe you can use Python R for that purpose, right, to develop that model. In our days, right, back in 2007, we did not have this much craze of online courses, boot camp. We do not have so many materials, right? Even I am talking today, we were on if I'll recall, right, 2006 7, we were running behind the people that okay, please guide us how we can build our career and all those, but very few options we had, right? But nowadays you will see ample of materials, ample of what you say scope is there to learn the new things. You have so many people who can guide you, drive you in your career, right? So a couple of them is like you can go with online courses. There are multiple companies, Udemy, Coursera, all those are giving you very well online courses, boot camps, books. There are multiple online books are available where you can get the knowledge on data science, machine learning. Hackathon, again, very important platform, right? So I don't know whether it was there during our days or not, but uh, you should, I will request everybody who is there on this webinar or seminar to join for some of the hackathon and try to see or evaluate your skills also. This gives a very uh, what will say this will enable you to get you to the next level, right? So you understand, once you participate in all those type of hackathon, you understand that what is the thing company is looking for, how you can run or develop a code which is actually being executed into a production environment. So there's a hackathon going on. So I just wanted to call it out. NASA has launched a hackathon recently. You can go and search online, and if you are interested, you can go and enroll for that. So they have recently launched a hackathon, NASA, and they are asking all the people who are interested can come and participate for that hackathon. We have a very much good community right now, specifically for data science perspective, right? So Kaggle, and then we have what to say, Hacker Rank. All those type of communities are available right now, where you can go do some hands-on. You can participate in multiple different events. You can create your strong profile there. Okay, you can create your own what will say code or libraries there, and you will be visible to entire community. All these will be very helpful when it comes to your campus interview or campus selection. Internship, right? Most of the companies are giving internship for 2 months, 3 months, right? So you should leverage that. Try, if you are interested to go into data science field, right? I have captured something that, okay, what all companies are giving the internship on, getting mentored from the industry's expert, right? So you can, as I told you, you can always connect with me. I'm available to give you the guidance, mentor you if you need anything. So connecting that with industry expert or leaders also help you to build your career into AI ML space. Some important certification which you should also do to visualize or to what will say add something onto your profile is Google certification or AWS or Azure or IBM. Multiple companies in this what is a COVID-19 situation are giving free certification. I certainly know about Oracle and Microsoft. They are giving the free certification on their foundation course. You should, I request you, you should use that. You can go to Microsoft site and search for Microsoft Foundation, and you can appear for those type of certification and training. You can always get or earn some of the data scientist certification which will add value to your profile, which is like you can get the certification from Udemy, Coursera, or other technologies. So these are some additional things which I think you should do in order to get your profile visible during your campus selection. So we can move to the next question, please.
Okay. So now we know that learning of these trending technologies is very important. So, Mr. Murari, as you have been a part of campus recruitment, so if you can just share that what are the important skills which an IT organization like Infosys and TCS are looking for in freshers?
Good question. So yeah, so some of the skills, right? So they are not looking somebody who is a scientist, right? And they do not want that they want to build a rocket. Okay, so what they are looking for, some basic thing, right? First and foremost thing, what they are looking for is the right attitude for learning new skill. So you should not be reluctant that no, I will not go and learn mainframe. No, I will not go into testing. So that's where this is very important for a company to know your attitude, whether you have right attitude to learn a new skill or not. They are, again, most of the companies who is customer facing are looking for good communication skill, because that is very important for them into their business. So they are looking for a very efficient communicator or a person who possesses a very good communication skill. One of the very important thing they look for is the confidence, right? So most of the people does not possess that. So once we go and appear for the campus interview, we, I don't know, we get severing that, oh no, what this guy will ask. So do not lose your confidence. Be confident while answering your questions. Okay, they will try to double cross and check your confidence, but do not lose your confidence at that moment, right? Again, a very important thing is if you have done something different other than your normal work. So something like if you have done some certification, if you have done some data science course, if you have knowledge of programming, all those things they look which you have done additional other than your normal study, right? Because nowadays, right, you will see the competition is huge. Almost, I will say, 7 to 8 lakhs. I'm not sure about the number. More than that, engineers are coming pass out every year. However, jobs are very few, right? So that's where they are looking for something really different. That okay, whether this guy is capable to sustain in my organization, what extra skill he has, right? So all those things are very important. So you need to have something different than others to get your profile visible to them. And that's where this fundamental programming knowledge, new technology understanding comes into the picture. So if I go for a campus interview, right, and if somebody tell me that okay, I have worked on blockchain, oh wow, you have worked on blockchain, can you tell me what is blockchain? If just that guy gives me the definition of blockchain, I am happy to consider him. Okay, I'm not asking to draw a model or something like that. If just he understand that concept of blockchain, it is more than sufficient for me. What basic programming language I am looking for? I ask every in almost all the interview that write a program or write a pseudocode to find whether a number which is given is prime number or not. So all those type of very fundamental things we look during the campus interview. Some of the top questions, right, which is asked during data science. What is a data science? What are the different steps? I think we already have covered that. But these are the some basic, very basic thing which people are looking, or maybe an interviewer are looking during the campus selection. What is a linear regression? What is a normal distribution? So these are very, very simple questions. They do not want any very, what will say, data scientist type of answer. They just wanted to evaluate your concept, right? That whether your understanding is perfectly fine or not. So that's what they are looking for. Some of the companies who are hiring right now, and as I told you, right, these are the some data and science internship position you can see is still available with this organization, like Amazon, Six Sense, Green Tech, Civil Corps, Skillbyte. So these are the company still looking for the data science interns. If you have not got any internship, I request you, you can reach out to these organizations, and they would be happy to consider you for the internship project. Cool. So can we move to the last? I think this is the last question, right, Survi?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
So basically, like, how can we switch the learning from one technology to another? Like, is it difficult or it can be managed easily?
Sure. So see, how one can switch the learning from one technology to another. So they can start, as I told you, right? What everybody is looking for a basic. So they can always start with the basic, learn from the best, right? So there are multiple materials. So do a collaborative learning, right? So learn from the best. Network with the people is very, very important, right? So if I am from the data analytics and you want to switch the technology from Java to machine learning, or maybe to data science or to data analytics, right? Try to network with those type of people and get a proper guidance that okay, I'm going through this, whether it is good enough or do I need to do something extra and all those things. So you need to be very interactive, get the guidance, build the network. Very important when you are switching from one technology to another. Start with a small project. So as you have learned something basic, try to come up with a small project to concrete your understanding, so that the person whom you are interacting or getting the guidance can also get the confidence that yes, this guy has understood and now he is showing me something onto the project level. So that's where it will help for help you as well as your mentor to support you into your journey of switching the technology from one technology to another. So these are a couple of important points, or what to say, guidelines when you are switching the technology from one technology to another is very, very important. Some of the top five languages I think used in artificial intelligence uh, is basically Python. Everybody know, right? So Python is one of the very vast or very popular language nowadays being used for data science and machine learning, followed by R and C++, Java and Lisp, right? There are some comparison metrics also given over here to find out that, okay, how to pick the right language. So you can see, right, for NLP, 42% or the 42% time it is Python compared to other language. When it comes to sentiment analysis, again, Python is more popular compared to C, Java, or R. Right, so all those analysis is given over here, which I think you are able to see on your screen. So uh, I think I have completed my session. Do we have anything else, Surbi, to talk?
Basically, I want to take two questions from the chat box.
Sure. So before that, I just wanted to go ahead and show my book. So this is the book which I have written on. So I hope everybody can see my screen. So this is Google Analytics with Google Cloud Platform, Data Analytics with Google Cloud Platform, and it is available on Amazon and BPB site, and the links are given over here. So if you feel that you are trying to develop your career onto the cloud computing on Google and doing something onto the data analytics, you should refer this book. And there are some more books which BBB offers as a part of interview guidelines and learning new training technologies. I would like to thanks everyone and happy to support and help as much as possible by providing the career guidance. You can always reach out to me over LinkedIn. I am highly active on LinkedIn, and even you can reach out to my email. I have mentioned my email ID also, which is Murari MURARI underscore 045 at yahoo.co.in. And as I told you, I'm highly accessible on LinkedIn. You can connect with me on LinkedIn and you can ask the question if you have any. So thanks a lot, Surbhi, Dheeraj sir, Lalit sir, BPV for providing me the opportunity to conduct this webinar. So we can take some questions, Surbhi now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Murari. I just want to take questions from the chat box
Sure.
quickly. There is a question from Aditya. He's writing that I read on LinkedIn that most of the company generally go for the trained professionals rather than freshers. So please assist me. How much is this true?
So that is true, right? Most of the company try to go for experienced folk, right? But as I told you, when it comes to campus or internship and all those, that's where you can make a real differentiation by adding these new skills or new certification or your experience, so that it highlight the interviewer or the organization that, again, the experienced guy is good enough, but I can still consider this guy because this has a right attitude and poses a different complete set together of skills which can help me. So yeah, again, a professional is always considered, but it's not that the fresher cannot get that. So if you have a right skill, right attitude, you will get that.
Okay. So there's one more question. Which is the best platform to learn data science to become a data scientist? From Swapnil.
Okay, so see, again, there are multiple platforms as I told you, right? So it depends on how you want to go ahead. There are multiple online courses, multiple certification, multiple different cloud providers, multiple different technologies, right? So it depends on your interest, how you want to go ahead and how you want to take your career to the next level, right? So there are multiple platforms available. I would suggest that go and explore Kaggle, create your own GitHub library, and all those which will add value to your profile.
Okay, thank you. I think the rest answers will be sent to the participants after the webinar.
So in the last, I would just like to say that it's very important for everyone to find your right interest, follow your passion, develop your skills, work very hard, and find your strength and weaknesses to strive for a successful career. So this is very, very important. Please remember this mantra. Thank you.
So let's wind up the session. Thank you so much, Mr. Murari, for the excellent explanation. It was helpful, insightful. Thanks for all the efforts and great presentation.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone. Hope to connect with you. Thank you.
And we would also like to thank all the dear participants, and we are sure that the session has developed more awareness, and we look forward to see you all in the next webinar. Also would like to share that we have many books on interview questions like data science and machine language interview questions, IT interview freshers guide, artificial intelligence for all, and on cloud computing. All these are available on bpbonline.com. These books are very useful for the students appearing for the interviews, and you can like master yourself and all the concepts. We hope that you all benefited from this webinar. We appreciate your efforts. Thank you so much. Thank you once again.